welcome back to the class once again. So today I'm going to teach you the amending procedure of the constitution of UK, USA and India. What is the procedure being followed in order to bring the amendment in the constitution? What is the meaning of amendment? Amendment means to bring certain changes in the constitution. It doesn't mean that complete change in the constitution. The very basic features of the constitution cannot be changed, but certain features or certain new things can be added in the existing constitution. Okay, that process is known as amendment procedure. Okay, so today I'll be teaching you three different procedures of amendment of UK, USA and India respectively. Okay, all the three procedures of the amendment procedure I'll be telling you. The first one is UK, United Kingdom. Very simple. We don't have to waste our time in discussing the amendment procedure of UK because it's very simple. Because as you know that the constitution of UK is an unwritten constitution, so there are no certain definite rules and regulations according how to amend the constitution. Okay, so the UK constitution, though it is an unwritten constitution, it can be amended partially or wholly by an ordinary law. It can be amended by an ordinary law which can be passed by the British Parliament. And as you know that two houses are there in the British Parliament, that is House of Lords, which is the upper house, and House of Commons which is the lower house, which is the representative house of the people of Britain. Okay, so the power is in the hand to pass an ordinary law. The power is in the hand of the House of Commons. So it is very clear that amendment procedure in UK is done in a very simple manner as it is done in passing an ordinary law. Okay, so we can say that there is no distinction between constitutional law and the ordinary law, and each can be amended. Both ordinary law and constitutional law can be amended or replaced by the British Parliament. So when we talk about the British Parliament, then who has the full power to amend the constitution? That is in the hand of the House of Commons. As you know, British House of Lords is the upper house. Okay, and the role of legislative role is played by the House of Commons. Okay, that means the real law making power is in the hand of the House of Commons. So it really exercises the power to amend the constitution. So this much only, nothing much to discuss about the procedure of amending the constitution. Okay, so British Parliament can pass a law by a simple majority. British Parliament can pass a law or the amendment procedure by a simple majority. Okay, simple majority in the House of Commons. Okay, it can even amend the constitution by passing a single law in a form of a single law. Also, they can pass the amendment procedure of the amendment of the constitution. So this is all about the amendment, the way the amendment is done in the constitution of UK. Okay, so now we'll discuss about USA. So from here onward, you have to be little bit, you must be focused to understand the procedure of amendment, how it is done in USA and India. Okay, so let us do with the USA first. First of all, we'll do with USA. Okay, I'll make a clarity. So how the amendment of US Constitution is done. So here amendment procedure of the US Constitution has to go through two stages. Okay, the first one is the proposal stage. Okay, the first one is the proposal stage, and the second one is the ratification stage, which I'll discuss after making you understand about all this. Okay, so what it is, now listen to me. So in the first stage, there is a proposal stage. There are again two options. The first option is if both the houses of the US Congress, if both the houses of the US Congress, okay, adopts the majority vote, if they if the proposal of the constitution amendment is done by two-third majority of both the houses separately, that means two-third majority of the House of Representatives and two-third majority of the House of, that is the Senate. Two houses are there, House of Representatives and the Senate. So it has to be done separately. Two-third majority in the House of Representatives and two-third majority in the Senate. So both houses has to vote separately. Okay, that means each house is voting separately. So if that is clear, if two-third majority of both the houses clears the proposal stage, okay, then it goes to the second stage, that is the ratification stage. That second stage I'll discuss after completing this. Okay, now if not this one, if this one is not if it's not applicable, then there is second stage also, where the constitution amendment can be adopted by a constitutional convention. A meeting can be called, a convention can be summoned. Okay, it can be the constitution amendment can be summoned by the, summoned means called by the US Congress. It can be summoned by the US Congress. US Congress means the Parliament of USA is known as US Congress. Okay, so when does the US Congress call the convention, summon the convention? Only when two-third, listen to me properly, only when two-third of the state legislature, that means two-third means, suppose how many states are there in USA? How many states? 50 states are there. Okay, just look over here. All together, how many states are there in USA? 50 states are there. Okay, so out of 50, if two-third of 50 states, state legislatures, out of 50, it's not necessary that all the 50 has to request the convention. No, if two-third of the 50 states, let me tell you, see here, 2 by 3 into 50, how much? What will be the result? So it is 2 5 to 10. 100 by 3, so it will be 33. It will be 33. So let us make it 34. 34. So two-third of 50 will be 34. 34 states. If 34 states legislatures, they request the US Congress to make some amendment, then it is done by the US Congress. So once again, a constitution amendment can be adopted. So this is the process. This is the first proposal stage. This is the first stage of amendment. Okay, this is the first stage of, that means the amendment process has to go through two stages, and this is the first stage. I hope you understood it. Once again, let me repeat it. That means if two-third majority of the two houses, if they adopt the resolution to bring changes, then they can easily do it. Okay, then the second one is that if two-third of the state legislatures makes a request, they make a request to the US Congress to bring certain changes, or they wanted amendment in the Constitution of USA, that is also possible. So how many states should agree with it? 34. Okay, two-third of 50 will be 34. This is the first stage we completed right now. Okay, the first stage is the proposal stage. So this is also applicable. If not this, then this is also applicable. That means here the power is given to the US Congress, where both the houses, they can bring changes in the constitution. And secondly, the federating states, the 50 states, they are also given the power to amend it, but how? Through the US Congress. I hope you understood it. Okay, now we'll discuss about the second stage, that is the ratification stage. It doesn't mean that this is over, means constitution can be amended easily. No, one more stage has to be cleared by the process. First stage is clear. Now here there is no problem. If this one is cleared, then this one is not required. If this is the process followed, then okay, no problem. Now this process now will move on for the second stage. So what is the second stage which need to be cleared, that we'll discuss now here. So after completing the first stage, that is a proposal stage, now we have to move toward the second stage, that is a ratification stage. This is known as ratification stage. So what is the meaning of ratification? It is a consent, meaning is consent or approval, or the agreement, or we can say to agree, not agreement in real sense, to agree. So 50 states are there. Once again, how many states are there? 50. 50 states are there in USA. Okay. So now listen to me properly. Ratification need to be done by 3/4. It need to be done by 3/4. So this is the one, 3/4 of the states. So once again, what will be the number? 3/4 of the 50 states. 3. So this is the process of US amendment of the second stage. So we were discussing 3/4 of the state legislature. Please don't get confused with this, okay? I'll explain it clearly. So 3/4 of the state legislature. So what will be the number? 3/4 of 50, it will be 37.5. So let us make it 38. Round off. Okay. So if 38 states approves the amendment of the constitution, then it can easily be done. 38 state legislature. How many legislatures? 38. How many legislatures? 38. So you please don't get confused over here. How many state legislature? That means 38 state legislatures, if they approves out of 50, if 38 state legislatures, if they agrees, then the amendment process will be clear. Ratification becomes successful. So 3/4 of the state legislatures, if they agrees, if they gives the consent, or if they approves, then that will be accepted by the US Congress. So another one also is there. There should not be a confusion. It said state legislature. Now here the states of US Federation. So here we are not talking about legislature. Legislature means in the state legislature, decision has to be taken in all the states. Okay, suppose in India we have 29 state legislatures, so it need to be decided by West Bengal state legislature also, okay, Bihar legislature also. So that decision has to be taken among the members of the respective houses. Okay, so that is I am talking about state legislatures. How many state? 38. Okay, how many legislatures? Let me again explain you. How many legislature has to agree to it? 38. Now the same number 38 is applicable over here also. If 38 states, I'm not talking about legislature, if 38 states directly agrees for the approval or for giving the consent to the amendment which is moved by the US Congress, then it is up to the US Congress to decide which one to accept it. It is up to the US Congress which one to accept it, either this one or this one. So here the state legislature has decided, here only the states has decided. Heads of the state, that is who is the head? Suppose the main governor of the states, they have decided. So here the member has decided, member of each and every state. How many states? 38 states, they have taken the decision of approving the amendment, but here only the states of US Federation. All the out of 50, how many state has to approve it? That is 38. So I hope you understood this part. This is a very rigid process. We can call it the first one was all about flexible amendment, flexible constitution. That was unwritten constitution, and this one is very rigid. First proposal stage, then if the proposal stage clears the first stage, then it has to go to the second stage. So if it is stuck over here, if the state government, if the state federation or the state legislature, if they disapproves the process or the amendment procedure of the US Congress, then it cannot move forward. It cannot move forward. That is why US Constitution has to follow a very rigid constitution. That is why till today only 27 amendment has been done. only 27 amendment has been done. So I hope you understood it. Okay. Now we'll move to the last topic of this chapter. First one we did UK. Now second one we did USA. Okay. Now the third one, the Indian Constitution. How is the Indian Constitution amended? Okay. We'll discuss now. Okay, children. Now the Constitution, that means the amendment of Indian Constitution, how it is done. So again there are two methods, number one method and number two method. The first method is very simple. Okay, so here in the first method, 2/3 of the members of each house separately, again 2/3 of the members of Lok Sabha and the 2/3 of the members of Rajya Sabha, if they passes a amendment bill, then there is no obstacle in the path of amendment. Okay, then it will move on to the second stage. Okay, so sorry, not the second stage. So here itself it can be done. So if 2/3 members of each houses, if they agrees to bring amendment in the Constitution, then they can easily do that. Okay, and getting it signed by the President of India. Okay, it is a this is a very simple process. So here they don't have to get the consent of the state legislature. So that is the first method. Okay, so this is the first method. Okay, we'll discuss which are the what type of changes can be brought by US Indian Constitution through a first method. That also we'll discuss. Let me clear this part. Now, this both are separate. It is not or. This is the first method. In the first method, 2/3 of the members of both houses separately, if they passes a resolution to amend the bill, then it can be done. So 2/3 of the Lok Sabha, 2/3 of the members of Rajya Sabha, if they pass separately, then the bill will be forwarded to the President, where President will sign it. Then it will be the bill. That means the bill becomes amended. Okay, it stands amended. Okay, now this is the second method. Forget about the first method now. This is the second method. In the second method again, the first step is 2/3 again. Okay, the majority of both houses, 2/3 of the members of the parliament separately. Okay, 2/3 of the member of Lok Sabha, 2/3 of the member of Rajya Sabha. Okay, members present and voting. Suppose all the members are not present, but out of that number present, so 2/3 of the members present and voting, they will be counted. So if they agrees to pass a resolution for motion for amending the bill, then it will move on to the second stage. Not the method, second stage, where they need to be where the legislature need to be ratified by the states. How many states? Half. Okay. So if 2/3 majority of both the houses of the parliament passes the amendment bill, then that will be given to, that means that has to be ratified by the state legislatures of our country. How many state has to agree or conform to the amendments? How many? Half. Half of the state legislature. So it is not the half. That means 29 states are there. So what will be the half of 29? So 29 means 14. Let us take it 15. 15 state has to give the approval to pass the amendment bill of the Constitution. So if it is done, there won't be any problem. So once again, the Indian Constitution has to pass through two stages in the second method, and the first method very simple. Only the parliament can easily do so. They don't need to take the consent of the state legislatures. Okay, and in the second method, two stages are there. First stage, 2/3 of the members of both the houses, they have to approve it. Okay, they have to give the consent, and then it is given. It is being asked from the state legislatures whether the amendment has to be done or not, whether you agree to it or not. So half of the state legislature, that means 29 states are there. Out of 29, half means how much? Let us say 24 or 25. Let us take it. Sorry, 14. Or 15, let us take it. 14 of the states legislature, if they agrees, if they give the consent, then the amendment bill will be passed and will be sent to the president for his assent. Okay children, I hope you understood it. Now let me now give you a clarification on what type of bills, what type of what are the provisions under which the constitution can be amended by the parliament of our country. So let me make it clear. Parliament, each houses means parliament. So that's for your clarity, parliament. So which are the provisions, or on which chapters constitution amendment is possible? So let me give you a clear idea. So I am giving it over here. You can go through it one by one. Okay, constitution can be amended by a rigid method. Rigid method. That is this. This is a rigid method. This is the rigid method, because here the consent of state legislature is also required. So this can be taken as a rigid method. Okay, this second method can be taken as a rigid method. So on which topic, which are the provisions? So I have given it over here. You can go through it. Like Article 54, 55 regarding the election of the president. Both the consent of state legislature and parliament required. Extent of executive power of the union. Extent of the executive power of the state. Provisions regarding High Court in Union Territories. Okay. Provisions regarding the Supreme Court of India. Okay. Provisions regarding High Courts in states. Legislative relations between union state. Okay. So these are the points. And the provisions of Article 368. Whatever is the provision Article 368. So there both the houses need to be involved. Okay. Now the first method, which is done in a very simple way, by simple majority of both, the houses. So which are the provisions? Once again I have given it over here. You go through it once. The provisions which can be done in a very flexible way is, you can see over here, article number 2, 3, 4. Okay, providing for the admission and establishment of new states. Formation of new states, alteration of areas, boundaries or names of existing states, and laws made under Article 2 and 3 of the Constitution. The next one, dealing with citizenship of India, dealing with delimitation of constituencies, relating to quorum in the parliament, concerned with privileges of the members of parliament. So these are the ones. So last few I am going to read it out. Relating to elections in the country, relating to official language of India. Okay, and the last one, 15th, Schedule 2, 5 and 6 of the Constitution. So if they need any changes in the Schedule 2, 5 and 6 of the Constitution, so it can be done easily by the Parliament of our country. That is by both houses of the Parliament, by the first method. Okay, by the first method. Okay, and the rigid method I told you earlier. So regarding establishment of high courts in the state, election of the president, okay, then extent of executive power of the state. So these are the ones. If they want any changes, then they can easily do so. First one is a flexible one. Second one is the rigid one, where the consent and the approval of the state legislature is also required. So here, how many states? Half. So don't get confused. Half means how much? Half means, let me write it over here. Half means how much? 14. Okay. So 14, 28. So one more state is added. No. So let us make it 15. Okay. So 15 of the states gives the approval. Ratification means approval or to agree. Okay, so that is all about ratification. So in the US Constitution, 3/4 of the state. So here how many? Half of the states. So 3/4 of the states in USA, 37 somewhat. But here how much? 15. 15 states, if they agree, then ratification will be approved easily and will be sent to the president, and president will sign it, and amendment remains active. Okay, so the bill, the procedure of the bill stands amended. Okay, so very simple. Constitutions, that means one sentence is mentioned over here in Article 368 of the Indian Constitution. Article 368. What is mentioned in Article 368? Article 368 of the Constitution lays down that an amendment of the Constitution may be initiated only by the introduction of bill for the purpose in the either house. It can be introduced in either house. Okay? When the bill is passed in each house by a majority, each house by a majority of total membership of that house, okay, and not less than 2/3 members of that house present and voting, it shall be presented to the president. So once it is passed by both the houses, then it will be sent to the president. And president, once it signs the bill, once he gives his assent, the bill thereupon the constitution shall stand amended accordance with the terms of the bill. So this is mentioned in the article.